Hello, this is Eric with Nutrition by Eric. Today, I'd like to introduce you to a testing company, MosaicDX. It's a company that does really interesting functional lab tests. They offer over 40 different kinds of tests. And let me just show you. This is their website. If you want to learn more about yourself, about your dynamics going on with your metabolism, with toxins in your body, Lyme, co-infections, allergies, gastro health, hormones, etc. Very interesting. You can just kind of go through. Anyway, I went a little faster, but yeah, I did this personally myself. It's a very good one to know what's going on, because we have so many things that we didn't have 10, 50, 100 years ago. Chemicals, toxins, weird bugs and stuff like that. And we have now more information to learn more about the body and health from testing. And let me just show you a little bit more of what they can test for. Here's what they use. Either it's like it shows here, blood, a dried blood spot, which you just dab it onto like a little card, hair, saliva, serum, which comes from blood, stool, hopefully you know what that is, urine, and water. Now the blood and the serum have to be done at a lab where they can take blood, and the serum will come from the blood, but either way, they take the blood, and if it's not one of those, the rest can be done at home, which is nice. The dried blood spot, hair, saliva, skip that one, stool, urine, water, all can be done at home, and we can see what we can test for. So you're welcome to go to the site. It's just MosaicDX.com, where I was. And there's lots of information. It's a good-looking site. I'm a practitioner, and I'll be walking you through one of the tests. But first, I just want to show you, you can poke around as well. And there's wonderful videos recorded, case studies of everything with insomnia and depression, going back to more recent ones. This is what we're going to go over today, by the way. Organic acids test, also called OAT, and how played a role in this person's treatment. And this trouble with a 6-year-old who's having trouble relaxing and falling asleep. So what I'd like to do is bring an example, and you can find this on their site too. When you go under the tests, you can, actually I can just show you real quick. Our tests, here it is, organic acid test is the OAT, and you can do sample report and do it yourself. But I wanted to show you what that this is the actual report of somebody, and you can see the patient name is report sample. So it's super interesting. And now we know you probably know a lot of terms that we know, like vitamins and nutrient and carbs and fat and protein, but organic acid is a substance that gets produced as you eat food, whatever. It goes through many, many steps, and one of those steps, it's kind of like exhaust coming out of a car in a way. And there's about 50 to 100 different kinds that come out of the body. This test tests for 70. And you can see they're numbered. You know, they have by section: intestinal microbial overgrowth, and yeast and fungal markers is a subsection, and 1 through 9, and then the bacterial markers, Clostridia bacterial markers, and so on. And then here's it. It interrupts the test with the Krebs cycle. And if you like to study that, or like to go through that, you can learn about that. Catecholamine, neurotransmitters, and then it goes on to the test. So we were at 18 at the layer, and 19, and you can see it goes. This report is 13 pages. And what's nice about it, once you go through, I'll start back up. Let me back up a little bit. So for this one, citramalic is one of the yeast and fungal markers. The reference range is under less than or equal to 3.6. This patient had 1.6, which is within range. And you can see they have a graphic of this kind of orangey yellowish bar represents the normal range. And this person's value, 1.6, is here in this kind of a diamond, so it shows it's okay. The next one, the reference range, or also the normal range, is less than or equal to 14. This person's right at 14. So it looks a little exaggerated. It looks all the way to the right, like it's way over, but it looks like it's okay. And same in so. But I'm gonna draw your attention number 5, where this value for, I can't pronounce all of them. Aspergillus in parentheses is supposed to be less than 1.9, but this person is at 15. And you see what's interesting is the H for high. So this should have been in this band, but it's all the way to the right, and it has a red outline on the diamond. So it's like really off. And then you start wondering maybe, well, what does this all mean? And I'll get to that in a moment. So anything with an H, or you'll see an L for low, H for high, L for low. And you'll see also it's graphically to the right or to the left of the band, is something off. So we can go through this, and you can go through page by page, and you see, we'll just jump here. This is has to do with folate metabolism, uracil and thymine, and they're all very interesting. These are all interesting substances that get produced during the metabolism process as you get the food and you turn it into energy, and it breaks down and separates into things. All these markers are a great tool for the people at the lab to use and help identify what's going on. So we'll just kind of scroll through it real quick here. Here's one for indicators of detoxification. The person's a little high here, number 58. Everything else is okay. Amino acid metabolites and more. So what's real nice is once you get to the end, it explains what we just saw, really, which is the mean, the kind of the average range, and then plus or minus 1 standard deviation. If you're into statistics, that might mean something to you. Plus or minus 2 standard deviations. It's like really kind of pushing the limit there. So 1 standard deviation is a little bit more or less than the average. The mean is also sometimes considered the average. And then what makes it interesting, here's another graphic they included, by the way, the neurotransmitter metabolism markers. We can come back to that a little later. But here's where it gets interesting. Not only did you get to see all the values of all 70 organic acids, you can see an interpretation. This is really where it gets interesting. You see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This is pretty much a blank page. 5 pages of interpretation. And you can kind of flip back and forth. So this says, okay, so the high yeast fungal metabolites, 1 through 8. Elevations of 1 or more metabolites include a yeast fungal overgrowth of the GI tract. And that could be super helpful. It's like, oh, maybe this is causing this condition or whatever. Prescription of natural botanical antifungals along with supplementation of high-potency multistrains probiotics may reduce yeast and fungal levels. Now, I have to insert a disclaimer. This is for informational and educational purposes. Even though I am a certified health coach, these are things you may want to also discuss with your doctor. And that could be your ND, MD, functional medicine doctor, whatever. But so just check, of course, we want to make sure we're doing everything safe. But it's a real fascinating test. And we can go, so let's flip back here. Now I'm going to go back to page 1. And yeah, you can see, these are pretty high. 1 through 9 actually are, so 5, 6, 7, and 9 are high. So then you can kind of flip back to that section. Okay, and now I tell you each one. The 5 hydroxymethyl 2-furoic acid, high of these, high of that, have been reported to be byproducts of fungi, such as Aspergillus species, tartaric acid and oxalates. You can read through it. They used to be called the Great Plains Laboratory, MosaicDX. So if you see that, they just probably didn't change some of the wording. So that's also the same as this company, Mosaic. Now they're Mosaic. Okay, so you can kind of go through it, and you can get a lot of interesting information. Just to kind of backtrack a little bit, just to point out what is what here. It provides insight into gut health, energy production, brain chemistry, nutrient status, and detox pathways. What's also nice is it can flag imbalances early, which is often long before they show up on standard blood work. Because if you get a standard blood work panel from your doctor, they may not be searching for all the things that may be of the best benefit for you, and maybe they are. Hopefully they are, but there's lots and lots of things to test. Okay, so let's look at one like if you've heard of this, was kind of a buzzword not too long ago, oxalates or oxalate metabolites, which is often has to do with things from dark leafy green vegetables, which even though they are good, sometimes they can cause some kind of nutrient blocking and other problematic things going on there. High oxalates are often linked to kidney stones, joint pains, fatigue, and they often show up when fungal overgrowth is present. Did you know that? Interesting, huh? And if we look at another section, let's say this person is, they got a couple high ones. See? That's really high. Okay, so if we looked at, how about we jump over to the mitochondrial markers, the Krebs cycle metabolites. Let's see, this also, I have some notes on this. These show how well your cells produce energy, like a low power plant. If they're not producing energy, you're in trouble. If these are off, it could explain low stamina, brain fog, or chronic fatigue. That's no fun. So if you have, people, sometimes it's, again, doesn't always show up on standard lab work. So these are things that could be addressed. And then, what you do is, if you're interested in ordering one of these, you work with me or another practitioner, and we get it ordered. And then I have a team. I look it over, and either a naturopath or a registered dietitian with advanced training will look it over, and we'll get a real good sense of what's going on. And we can figure out, what's your next step? What do you need to address? How do you bring the levels that are too high down? How do you bring the levels that are too low up? Or do you need more testing? Sometimes, you just have to do more testing until you find the source of the issue. So this is one of the main tests. I've done several with Mosaic and other companies. So it's just so helpful. I mean, you can get a lot of help. Sometimes I find in the health arena, you need a team. Sometimes, and this is similar to other aspects of life. If you're an athlete or you're a musician or business person, sometimes you need multiple sources of information that can really be specific to your situation. So that's what's real nice about this. So this is one of the main ones. If you're interested, I have a website. I'll put a link below, nutritionbyeric.com, and you can go to the services page and see the different tests. I just kind of list a couple of them. There's a whole bunch here. Sometimes some of them are, pretty much good for anybody. Some of them are just depends on if you need it because you're in a certain situation. When I work with my team and I do the research, sometimes they say, okay, you may need the zonulin test, for example, or maybe you have Lyme suspected and you can test for that. So you don't usually have to do all the tests, usually one or a couple, and then you can always retest. If you find your levels are not ideal, you can come back in 3-6 months. First of all, you would have a game plan, and then you can see if you feel better and you want to know if your tests represent or reflect the good state or the change in condition, you go back and you test again. And you kind of repeat the cycle until you know what to eat, maybe now your lifestyle changes are helping, whether you're taking yoga or you're meditating or you're going for hikes or you're getting out of toxic environments or you stop using certain chemicals that you didn't know were part of your daily routine, cleaning products and body washes and maybe chemicals in the workplace. So there's a lot of things that we can discover through a consultation and testing to identify things that you may not be aware of. It could include clothing choices, the Wi-Fi in your house, or if you're close to a cell tower, or all smart meters. There's all kinds of things going on nowadays, and not everything. Our bodies aren't always compatible with all the things going on with the technology, and or if you live next to like a food production plant or a chemical production plant or a electrical station that has high magnetic or electrical fields, there's all kinds of things that can go on around us, and we may not necessarily be aware that they are causing an adverse reaction. Okay, so that's it. And of course, positive things too. It might have some good things that you may not know about that are in your life, and you want to maybe increase those. So that's it for today's video. Thank you for watching through this. And if you're interested, again, why don't I do this? I will just pull up my website. It may look a little different later, but if you go to my site and you go to services, you can see this is where I'm at now. Everything is subject to change, of course. It's only 70. I have to change that, but this is the OAT deep dive. There's a few other ones as well. I will give you a consultation, and like I said, the results of the discussion with my team, and we'll see if we can get you into a better spot. So again, this is Eric with Nutrition by Eric. Thank you for watching, and I'll talk to you next time.